Want to know what all of the changes are to my cube post Hour of Devastation? Let's find out. Hello and welcome to Life Begins at 20. My name is Mark, and if this is your first time here, thank you for joining me, much appreciated. And if you're interested in Cube content, plus any other format within Magic the Gathering, hit that subscribe button for new videos every Tuesday and Friday, and don't forget to hit that notification button to find out when they come up online. So, Hour of Devastation has been and gone. While it hasn't been as good for Cube builders as Amonkhet was, there's still some decent cards that have actually made it into my Cube, and I'm sure a few of the cards have actually made it into yours as well. Now, my cube has actually undergone a huge change, not only by adding new cards coming from Hour of Devastation, but I've cut the size from 720 to 540, thanks to suggestions from a lot of you put in the comment sections of all my cube update videos. Now, I've actually put down all of the cards down to 540. There'll be a link in the description below to the Cube Tutor blog so you can see what all of the cards that I've actually taken out. But needless to say, the average power level of my cube has just been raised so much better, and the cube is just playing so much better now, and we're actually having far more fun games with the average power level so much better. I mean, yes, there's still some cards that need to be bought. Yes, there's still some cards that are potentially a little bit too powerful for the size of my cube right now, or the power level of my cube rather, but needless to say, this will actually be getting sorted out over a period of time. So I've picked up some cards just to fill in some gaps, try and sort out the mana curve for each of the colours as well. Plus, thankfully, one of my friends over at Kitchen Table MTG with Lazariak, who actually owns the forums and puts it up for all of us, which is actually fantastic. Please do check them out if you haven't done already, because it's such a great home for players to just spend some time and enjoy talking to other content creators from smaller channels and other players as well, and it's just a really nice home to be a part of. Now, he actually picked up an Eternal Masters lot. Really, I didn't know what was in it. He was just more kind of going for the pauper cards because he just thought it was just the, the junk stuff that they didn't really want to keep. Now, he was actually very lucky and picked up things like Chrome Mox and all other kinds of cards as well. A load of rares were in there, and he was very kind enough to send over a few cards for me as well, which I really do appreciate, and I can't thank him enough for doing so. So some of those cards have actually made it into my cube as well, plus I've picked up a few cards online, plus all the Hour of Devastation ones. So there's actually going to be a little bit of a cube update now just to see where it is, and this is only now going to be once a month. I'm not going to do a massive great cube update and let all these cards pile up and up because there's just no need to. So every single month, if I've made some changes to my cube, you will see that in a cube update video. So without any further ado, let's get stuck in. So to start off with, we've got Enclave Cryptologist here, and this one has come in for Merfolk Looter, purely down to the fact that I think this has got a little bit better value over the course of the game, especially you can spend your mana to level it up as needs be. And to be perfectly honest, I do like having this card around. So turn 2, you could then have it, draw a card, discard a card as well, and that's a lot better than having the Merfolk Looter because you can do it a turn earlier if needs be. Fill your graveyard up as well for Reanimator. Next up, we've got Waterfront Bouncer, and I've been looking for this for ages, and I don't know where it went, but it was in the Commons box, so I must have just skimmed past this without actually realising. This card I've got happy to put straight back in again, and I've put it in instead of the Aether Adept because I mean, I can bounce target creatures to its owner's hands whenever I fancy to, rather than just entering the battlefield. Plus, I get to discard a card from my hand as well, so it really is helping Reanimator at the same time. So, you've got additional benefits there, plus you can push your own creatures back to your own hand to be able to replay them for enter the battlefield triggers there. We've got Sphinx of the Final Word. I managed to open this from my little £1.50 booster packs you might have seen on Twitter at one point in time for the Battle for Zendikar and Oath of the Gatewatch. Picked up a load of them. I know a load of more of my UK-based MTG content creators also picked up a load of these as well. And I put this one in instead of the Curator of Mysteries just because the 4-drops I wasn't really struggling at all with, and I would just like to have more of a control finisher at the end. Can't be countered as a flying hexproof creature. Instant sorcery spells you control can't be countered by spells or abilities, and that's just fantastic. Really been impressed with this, and to be honest, got it in foil when I opened it up. Sorry, no, my partner opened this up. She got a normal one in the same pack at the same time, which was highly hilarious. So yeah, gone straight into the cube because it just looks awesome, and I'm really happy about that. Next up, we've got Kalitas, Traitor of Get. This card I didn't actually realise that I was going to be getting from Lazariak from Kitchen Table MTG forums. I knew he was going to be sending over some Eternal Masters cards because he bought a lot that wasn't, you couldn't see any of the rares or anything along those lines, and he got a load of great cards coming because he only wanted them for like the pauper cards and stuff like that. So having gotten some of them made great cards, he sent a few of them over, and we were chatting about it on the forums beforehand, and he meant, we've chatted about this card, and I wasn't going to pick this up until it rotated out of standard, but he was kind enough to send it over to me, and I can't thank him enough for doing that. So this card for me has come into the cube instead of Puppeteer Clique. I like the Puppeteer Clique, it did actually do some quite amusing things, but for Reanimator and all that kind of stuff, it wasn't really doing as much as I'd hoped. I've got other reanimation cards as well, so I was happy with the way that it was, and I felt that I could take him out until I then get, say, Entomb and Reanimate itself, just to really push it over the edge. But my 4 drops in black were definitely lacking a little bit, and having put this guy in, it's just done so much work for me. So much work. I've got an Aristocrats theme within my cube as well, so whenever I can then, sacrifice recurring creatures and play them back again, I then get a lot of benefit out of it. And you can sacrifice him with him as well to get himself +1/+1 counters as well. So that's been absolutely fantastic and done so much great work. So glad to have him in the cube. Next up, we've got a Wild Mongrel. Again, we wanted some discard outlets within green, because I want to try and be able to get green to be an influence within Reanimation as well. Still need to pick up Fauna Shaman for sure, and I think there's a few others in there as well, mainly in the spell section that I need to pick up as well to really make the benefit of that. But Wild Mongrel is great for what it needs to do, discarding cards, getting bigger, changing into a different colour as well, and so, for example, if your opponent's got one of the swords, I don't actually own them yet, but I will be proxying them very soon. So if they've got protection from a certain sword, you can then change the colour of it as well and do some decent work there, but it's mainly for filling the graveyard. Wild Mongrel came in for Mayor of Averbrook because the Mayor wasn't quite doing enough for what I wanted him to do. It wasn't getting picked enough, and if I was playing White Weenies, I wasn't really going to go and splash for him if I didn't need to. I would much rather go full out White Weenies with it, so more than happy to swap for that card. Next up, we've got Yavimaya Elder. Again, this is more down for ramp because I just needed to have a little bit more within the green section. There's still a few more cards I'd like to get hold of. Rophilus, for example, is one I wanted to get hold of, and I will end up proxying Gaia's Cradle at some point as well. I mean, there's a few cards I'd like to be able to just get proxies for, and that's something I'm looking into, to try and at least make foil proxies rather than just generic ones, because I just want them to look quite pretty at the same time. This guy came in instead of Rattleclaw Mystic just because, as much as Rattleclaw Mystic was decent enough because you could splash for 3 colours, there some colours there, it just wasn't doing enough for me. I'd rather have this guy in here just because you can sacrifice it to draw a card, which is also then useful, plus they're getting 2 basic lands as well, and that could be anything, so very happy to have that. Next up, we've got Pelucranos, and to be honest, this version of it only cost me like 70p. It was so much cheaper than the normal version of it from the actual main set. So I'm very happy to pick this up. I needed some more 4 drops within my cube in green as well. And this one came in for Bow of Nylea just because the bow wasn't being used very much at all. It just wasn't getting picked. It wasn't making it into decks. I think one person might have played it a couple of times because he was just trying out mono green, and just, it did a little bit of work from there, but for the most part, there was artifact removal, so just got rid of it anyway. And just Pelucranos was a card that I had lots of people suggesting to go and pick up, and very happy to do so. Next up, we've got Profane Command, and again, the versatility of this card has just made it so good to have into my cube. I do need to pick up the Fiery Confluence and the Mystic Confluence as well within red and blue, just to get the versatility kind of style of these cards. So I took this one out for Sign and Blood, which probably isn't the right card to take out for it, but again, that card wasn't being used as much as it probably should have been, whereas this means that I can, take a player's life total down. I can reanimate a creature if I can afford to with mana cost. You can then kill off a creature potentially with the -X/-X, and you can give some of your creatures fear as well. So I just liked having the versatility of it, and you get two things as well there. Next up, we've got Goblin Welder. This was again another great suggestion by a load of people actually. So I've taken out Frenzied Goblin for this because I have enough 2-power 1-drops within my red section that, having a way to be able to reanimate an artifact with Goblin Welder here is just fantastic. Yes, it's telegraphed. If you've got, say, your Signet out and you've got Battle Ball in the graveyard, for example, and your opponent's going to be like, I really, really have to get rid of this. But if you're able to protect him, being able to swap a Signet for a Battle Ball is fantastic, and I'm really happy. Plus, I really do like the old artwork there. Next, we've got Hornet Queen, and this one came in for Primeval Bounty because the Primeval Bounty just wasn't doing enough. It wasn't getting picked enough. If they got it out onto the battlefield and you've ramped into it, it did some pretty decent work, but at the same time, you'd probably rather have a different drop coming out down anyway. Hornet Queen, Flying Death Touch, plus you're getting yourself 4 more Flying Death Touch creatures as well. Just means a load of creatures are going to be getting killed off and chump blocked by tokens. You can then abuse the end of the battlefield trigger as well on it, and I really do like that about the Hornet Queen. Next up, we've got Dragonlord Ataka. So my Gruul section is happy to see this nice Elder Dragon. Again, lots of people were recommending me to pick this up. 8/8 flying trample for 7. When enter battlefield, deals 5 damage divided as you choose between any number of target creatures and planeswalkers your opponents control. Fantastic, great reanimation target as well, and just done so much great work. And I mean, this one came in for the Gore Clan Rampager just because it may be a little bit more expensive. I like the fact that it can be another reanimation target as well. Plus, you can always ramp up with green and red to be able to play it from your hand. And the Rampager just, again, wasn't getting picked enough. It wasn't doing enough for me, so this has come in. The Selesnya section has been changed quite dramatically. We've got ourselves 3 cards here that have come in. Ghazali Pride Mage, again, fantastic. Exalted is really, really useful to have, especially if you've got yourself a white board presence. Plus, destroying target artifact or enchantment is always good. Kitchen Finks, again, is really nice to have. 2 life coming in. Persist as well, so you're always going to get yourself 4 life, which is pretty good to have. Swinging in as an attacker. And to be perfectly honest, it's a nice sacrifice target as well. So hypothetically, you're going to play Natural Order or something along those lines where you're going to have to sacrifice a green creature. Perfect. Sacrifice this, you get another one back, and you get your new creature out as well. Really do like that about it. And then last of all, we've got Mirari's Wake, and a nice anthem, plus you're going to be able to ramp up really nicely, and this has done some significant work already, and I'm so glad to have this within my cube. And the 3 cards that came out for these were the Selesnya Guild Mage, Armadillo Cloak, and Ajani Mentor of Heroes. Ajani Mentor of Heroes mainly because the +1/+1 counters wasn't really being supported anymore within the cube. Armadillo Cloak has been very useful, giving something lifelink and trample was again pretty good to have, but it just again wasn't really doing enough and wasn't really getting being used enough. And then we've got ourselves the Guild Mage, which again, if you've got loads of mana later on, was quite useful to have, but these are just so much better improvements. I still want to get Knight of the Reliquary as well, just to be able to play a more graveyard style theme with my lands, so that's the next one I want to pick up, but I'm actually pretty happier. Well, I'm a lot happier now with my Selesnya section than I was before. Mystic Snake has come into the Simic section, and it's just a straight up improvement over Mystic Genesis. There's not really much I need to say about that. It's just a strict improvement there. And last up, we've got 3 lands that have been updated because I didn't cut very many of the lands going from 720 to 540, and this has just been a nice improvement to have. I didn't realise I had Grand Colosseum within my Commander 2016 section, so when I had a look back through my lands to see if I had anything that might be improvements, I found it. I was like, yep, this is going to go straight in because, you know, I can then splash for colours. Same with City of Brass there, just being able to splash for colours, and that's quite handy to have. Plus, the other card we've got, which was again, Lazarick sent this over to me, which I'm very grateful for, which is Maze of Ith. So untap target attacking creature, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt by it this turn. This is great to have because it's just a card sitting there stopping one of your opponent's threats from doing anything. I'm very happy to have that. And the 3 cards that came out to get rid of these was Temple of the False God because it just wasn't being used. It was such a bad card, and thank you to everybody that told me that because it just wasn't doing enough. Mage Ring Network, sometimes it was okay, but it just again wasn't doing enough, so very glad to have this come out. And the last of all was Inventors Fair, and again, because I didn't have that many artifacts and I wasn't going really heavy on an artifact deck, it wasn't getting the full benefit out of it that it could have had. So again, straight up improvements we've got here, and I'm very glad to have them in. There's still a few more of these lands that I'd like to pick up. Gemstone Mine, for example, is another one. I think Strip Mine's another that I'd like to pick up as well, and there's a couple others. But for now, I'm actually quite happy with where my cube is at, going from 720 to 540. So we'll get stuck in next to see which cards I've put in from Hour of Devastation. So onto the Hour of Devastation cards now, and Adorned Pouncer is still in the cube, it's still testing it, because I'm not 100% sure about it, just because it's working as a fencing ace, which is pretty decent. Putting equipment on it has been actually really great, but the Eternalize hasn't happened as much as I'd have hoped. I've put this one in instead of Raise the Alarm, because I had plenty of ways to get tokens within white, and I just preferred using this as a blocker if needs be, worst case scenario. But, I mean, like I said, the Eternalize thing hasn't happened as much as I hoped it would, so I was waiting to see whether it'll actually do a good enough job, else I'll find another 2-drop for it, but for now it's staying in the cube. Next we've got Angel of Condemnation. Again, I was slightly worried to start off with that it'll be a bit too slow, But for me, this was come in instead of Felidar Guardian, purely down to the fact that the Guardian, once it was on the board, wasn't fantastic. I mean, yes, I could make an infinite combo with Saheeli Rai if I really wanted to, and it can, blink permanents rather than just creatures, which is a very useful thing to have, but at the same time, it just couldn't do anything when it was on the board, and I was a bit disappointed about that. So I'm trying out Angel of Condemnation here, just because you've got the option of having yourself a 3/3 flyer with Vigilance hitting in if you need to, plus you can then use its abilities on the opponent's turn as well to exile away blockers. So I am actually quite happy with that, and it's staying in here for now. Next up, we got Supreme Will. Again, I like the versatility of this, and my blue spell section does need a lot of work still to be done to it. Most of the spells that I actually want to get hold of are pretty expensive, so until I actually sort out either proxying or buying one card at a time just to really push up the blue section, this one has come in to provide me a couple of useful options in versatility wise. But I've taken that Stunned Hope for this because Stunned Hopes just wasn't doing enough for me to warrant it being in the cube. I would like to actually pick up Mana Leak because I thought I had one, but apparently I don't, to replace that one instead, and then maybe it'll then come in for Disallow instead, because just, that card, as much as I really do like the artwork, it just hasn't done enough for me in the cube so far. But Supreme Will, I'm happy with it right at this moment in time. Next up, we've got Nimble Obstructionist, and this is probably one of the cards that I've actually enjoyed the most out of the set that, I wasn't necessarily going to chuck in straight away, but as a 3-drop in blue, very, very happy with this. This has come in instead of Summary Dismissal because that card just wasn't doing enough for me. I love having either the versatility here of having a 3/1 flash flyer, so you can put it in at the end of your opponent's turn to be swinging in with the next turn, which is great in an aggressive deck, plus you can cycle it away and have a stifle effect, and that has proved to be very, very useful. Next up, we've got Burning Fist Minotaur, and we've got ourselves a nice discard outlet in red. Yes, it's not quite Wild Mongrel. I'd love it to be Wild Mongrel, but unfortunately it's not. So we've got a 2/1 first striker where you can pump it up as many times as you'd like to get +2/+0 until the end of turn by discarding a card as well. So you get to discard on your own terms rather than having the 4/3 from Amonkhet, which you have to discard straight away when it comes into play. But this one, for me, has come in instead of Ash Zealot. As much as Ash Zealot was great in the terms of it being a 2 red for a 2/2, with haste and first strike, its second ability just didn't really do anything for the entirety of most games. It's very rare that it actually came off, so I wanted the easier mana cost to be able to cast with. Yes, it doesn't have haste, but you can pump this guy up massively, and I think I've even had it in one game swinging in as an 8/1, and that was just horrific. But yeah, good card to have. It probably won't stay in here for as long as I'd hope it was going to, but it still may end up doing a decent enough job for now until we get something better. Next up, Firebrand Archer here has come straight in. I've put it instead of Dragon Fodder because I had enough token generators within red at the moment anyway, so I didn't need to worry about that. Being able to have this card being used in a red aggro deck, a red burn deck, or even a red blue spells deck as well, because whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it'll ping your opponent. You can swing in with it as well, whereas Thermo Alchemist you kind of don't, but I've got both of them in here at this moment in time until something better comes along, and I've just been really happy with the Firebrand Archer, and especially the fact that it can ping in on the turn it comes in as well, so that's really good. Next up, we've got ourselves a Braid, and this was a card that was going straight in the cube as soon as it was spoiled on like the first day of spoilers. We managed to get 3 damage to target creature or destroy target artifact for 1 red. Versatility is your biggest friend here, and I really do love that in a card for cube. And this one for me has come in instead of Release the Gremlins, just because I don't have that many artifacts in the same way in my cube. I don't have power or anything along those lines, so I didn't really get the full benefit out of having being a way to destroy multiples of them. This has done a great job coming in. You can either kill an off in a creature. I would love to be able to hit the player with it, but I think that's probably asking too much. But it's just been a very, very good card, and if you haven't got this in your cube already, I would highly recommend it. Next up, we've got Ramanap Excavator, and this has been fantastic as well. He's come in instead of Rishkar Pima Renegade because unfortunately, Rishkar, when I had more +1/+1 counters, it did a better job because I could ramp so much more. But now I've taken a lot of the +1/+1 counters out because I just found that theme to be a little bit detrimental to games. His power level just dropped dramatically. And this is just so much better because I can just, use Evolving Wilds. It goes to the graveyard. You can bring it back and use it again and again and again. Fetch lands you can use multiple times if needs be as well. And just being able to play a graveyard-heavy theme with making the most out of the Gitrock monster, for example. And I would like to get hold of Knight of the Reliquary as well, Life from the Loam and all this kind of stuff. Just means that it's going to do so much more for you. And I really, really am happy with that. Plus, you can do some Strip Knight, Strip Mine shenanigans as well. So that's always fun. This is the only god from Hour of Devastation that's actually managing to get into the cube for now. I don't know whether it will stay in here as long because there was a pretty good card in Dimir coming from Ixalan that was unfortunately spoiled ages ago. But this guy's done so much work for me. I mean, the 5/5 for 5 that just keeps coming back and back and back unless you exile it is great. It's got an inevitable feel about it. Plus, I've got a fair few zombies, and I mean most people will have a fair few zombies anyway, more likely in black. So you're going to be able to get yourself a lot of damage being done in, and through his main ability, plus getting the Enter the Battlefield triggers from exiling a target creature card from a graveyard, which could be your opponent's as well, and just doing all that kind of stuff is just so much fun. I've put this in instead of Agony Warp because as much as having a piece of removal was useful, I just think that this has got so much more fun and value to it, and to be honest, black does not have any issues with having removal, so Agony Walk came straight out for this. And the last of the cards, of course he was going to come in here, he'd be a bit disappointed if he wasn't, and that was the new Nicol Bolas. I've put this in instead of Cruel Ultimatum. I didn't have the old Nicol Bolas, so as soon as I was able to get hold of one from the fat pack that I opened, it's going straight into the cube. I was so happy to open this up. Didn't manage to get any invocations, that's not really a problem, but I'm so glad to have got this guy in. Cruel Ultimatum was a really fun card, but this is just so much better. He is, I think he's only been played a couple of times so far since managing to put him into the cube, but he's done so much work, and he's been an absolute beast, so glad to have managed to pick him up. So there we can see all the cards that I've added to the cube, the ones that Lazaric sent over to me, which I'm extremely grateful for. I still can't believe he sent me Kalitas. That's just so kind of you, and I can't thank you enough. Again, please do check out the Kitchen Table MTG forums if you haven't done already. There'll be a link in the description below for that, because it's such a good home for all the players to do and talk to smaller content creators and just interact with one another, and that's fantastic. Plus the cards we got from Hour of Devastation as well. So I'm happy with the way the cube is. Yes, I'd also like to pick up Knight of the Reliquary and Life from Loam as well to really make the most of Ramen Up Excavator and the Get Drop Monsters already in my cube, just to kind of give it a little bit more of a feel. Plus, there's going to be some few cards in there, especially my blue spells do need to get a bit more of a push, and proxies are on the horizon for me. I didn't really want to do them as much, but just for the cards that just cost too much money, I will end up starting to do that, and then slowly replacing them as time goes on. But for now, I'm happy with the cube. It's playing so much better, and I can't thank you all enough for spending the time, putting the comments in the comment section below of all of the videos from my cube update, because it's just helped so much. And yes, cutting it from 720 to 540 has made a world of difference. So if you want to see what's happened in there, like I said earlier, there'll be a link to my Cube Tutor blog in the description below, so you can check that all out. And if there are any of the cards from Hour of Devastation that you've put in that I haven't mentioned, do let me know, because I'm interested to see what you've put into your cubes. And if there are cards that I've missed out, has the Locust God performed pretty well? Are there other uncommons that I've missed out, or any of the other rares that I've missed out, like Hour of Devastation, for example? I'm actually quite tempted to try and put that in there, but I'm not 100% sure. If that's done a good job for you, do let me know in the comment section below, because I'm very interested to see if I've missed anything out, or I've put things in that you may not be sure about. I'm always interested to see people's opinions on the cube as well. So again, thank you all for watching. Thank you again for all of the suggestions that you've given me in my update videos. I can't thank you enough for doing that. I would just like to take this moment to thank my Patreons of the channel. I can't thank you enough for the help and support that you're giving me. If you'd like to do the same, head over to patreon.com/lifebegins@20, and there'll be a link in the description below for that as well, where there are plenty of rewards to choose from. With your support, we can really push to make this channel even better. Be sure to check out our sponsor, 5colorcombo.com, for a great range of Magic the Gathering accessories with stunning artwork, plus a great app to draft and create decks on the fly. Use the referral code LifeBegins20 for 5% off. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for new videos every Tuesday and Friday. With your support, we can really help this channel to grow. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.